Hi everyone, कैसे हैं आप सब? I hope you all are doing great. I am Mashika Khandelwal from Geeks for Geeks and your host for today. So first of all, happy Janmashtami guys. Okay. So थोड़ा सा वेट करते हैं till then everybody can join. तब तक के लिए just let me know in the comment section below how all are you doing and how you are planning to spend your weekend. Okay. Kiva said, anybody there? Yes, the webinar is started. Just tell all your friends to join this webinar. This webinar is going to be really, really informative and amazing because today with us we have Mohan Peri and Benakaraj. Okay, Saurav is saying hi. Hi, Saurav. Hi, Chitali. Hi, Tukir. Hi, Akivo. Okay, I just hope I'm pronouncing everyone's name correctly. Hi, Tejas. Hi, Pratibhi. Happy Janmashtami. Sure. Will they provide internship also? Okay. Well, we'll answer this question in the webinar. Okay. Hello, hello. I'm good. Thank you. Hello, Ramesh. Hi, everyone. Just tell everyone to join this webinar. Yeah. Hi, Vishal. Hi, Akash. Hello, Ritesh. Hello, Anmol. Okay. Shall we start this webinar? Okay. So today with us we have Mohan Peri and Benakaraj. Mohan Peri is director at Neustar and Benakaraj is senior manager software engineer at Neustar. So let's just welcome Mr. Mohan Peri. Hello,
Hi, good
Mohan Peri.
afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. Welcome to this webinar. First of all, thank you so much for joining with us today. And guys, Benakraj will be joining with us in a few minutes. Till then, we're starting this webinar and we're going ahead with Mr. Mohan Peri. Yeah. Hello.
I can hear you, Shika.
Yeah. Uh, okay. I believe your picture is still. I believe the internet is lagging. Okay. No issues. We'll start. You can hear me, right?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. So while while going through the LinkedIn profile of yours, so I have seen like you have experience of approximately 23 years, and in this experience of yours, you have worked with various MNCs like IBM and Wipro. So I would like to I would like to know about your experience. Like, what was your experience? What you have learned? Like, if anything you would like to share with the audience.
Sure, I would say it was
Yeah.
an interesting close to 2.5 decades now with IT industry.
Yeah.
Started my journey like anybody else on this webinar, I think, like a developer, right? Wipro was my first company. And
Yeah.
then spent close to over 18 years with IBM, spent good time with Wells Fargo, and started my own company for about a year. So I know how startups work and what goes into building a startup. And then
Yeah.
now with Neustar. So it's an interesting journey. I've seen several technologies across the world. I've worked in more than 3 countries. Worked in US for over 8 plus 11 years now. So happy to share my experiences, but I think happy with what has happened so far.
Okay. Yeah. Well, great to hear that. So, okay, let's just start with the new star. So, I just want to know what is new star is all about.
All right. So Neustar, as we call it, right? It's a data company or IT services company. So what we do is we have insights or ability to get data, ability to build insights on the data, and then convert into something that can be marketed to customers who would use that. So essentially, what that we do is we connect the customer with the data and the insights that we generate with the people who are going to provide services, right? So-called enterprises. So it's at a high level, that's what we do. But hardly based on data and insights that we generate out of data, which is very valuable to the 3 or 4 marketing areas, right? So-called marketing solutions or the communication solutions or the risk solutions that we have, all operate on a standard integrated layer of what we call as the One ID platform, which is very powerful in terms of providing insights of information on customers, be it on the location, be it on the devices they use, be it on the addresses that they use, and other geographics like that are required for us to pinpoint a customer in several aspects. So that's essentially summary of what we do at Neustar.
So basically, if I could, so Neustar is a information services and technology company, basically, which enables connection between companies and people, I believe.
You can say that at a high level, yes, that's what we
Yeah.
do. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So, what is your mission and vision for the new star?
Well, mission would be the same as the data company, right? So to provide the information services, being a technology company, and lead this space, mainly in identity resolution and the corresponding services we offer around that, uh, so that we can establish trusted solutions, as you rightly said, right, between companies and people, be it marketing, be it communications, or be it risk. That's essentially what we do, and do
Oh,
whatever we do in a responsible way, so that the people ultimately get the benefit.
okay. Yeah. Great. So, I have another question. Like, what problem did you find when you came up with the idea to start this company, New Star?
So again, the problem is same, right? So if you see the history of IT, the way it has moved in the last 3 decades or so, so the way IT world had started maybe in 70s, 80s, 90s is, uh, if you have a system of record, you are a big person in the industry, right? And so-called the enterprise solutions started pouring in. After the evolution of the mobile technology and the social media, the shift was slightly into the system of engagement. So that now you have to see where you are engaging your end customers and the data around that. And just not that, right? So to get the right hold on the customer, especially in a digitally connected world these days, you need to know about the insights that you can derive of the customer and the experiences they get from what you have to offer to them. So that's where the system of insights came into play. Getting all of that using the customer data, the different kinds, first party, second party, third party, etc. Given all the regulations that you have to comply when you talk and deal with data, and create a structure which is IT wise, right, secure, compliant, and risk free, definitely it's not an easy task. And if I recall, like no means, although I'm new to Neustar, maybe slightly about 2 years, but we started around 1998, I think, or 2006 is when we really started with numbering porting services. The
Mm-hmm.
journey from that to where we are typically a data company offering data services to any customer, right? And
Yeah.
which we are strategically ahead of many other competitors is a big journey. And there are several pluses and several lessons that we learned over the process, but the very fact that like now means we got aligned or associated with a big company like TransUnion for a sale of about $3.1 billion speaks for
Mhm.
itself.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's yeah, great to hear that. And while getting started, with the idea and with the startup nowadays, startup is on the verge. If we talk about India, it's in. But while working with the startup and generating this idea and the startup thing, so basically, in the initial phases, you get to see the lot of problems, and with your vision and idea, you get to learn a lot of things.
And that's the right thing to do. Although
Yeah.
the large enterprises, so don't ever kill the startup mindset that you have in you, because that's what keeps you going all the time, gives you the energy to face challenges, come out with innovative
Exactly.
solutions
Yeah.
that will be useful in the long run.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So moving on to the next question, how would you describe the values your employees follow?
Wow, that's very important though, because
Yeah.
as we see, right, we have grown very fast, very quick in a short amount of time over the last several years. So the first value that we have in the company is accountability, meaning say what you speak and speak what you can do, right? So be responsible for you whatever you commit to, and so that's the first value that we have, and that's worked out well. Now to get to that value, right? So what is important is you have great teams working together towards a common goal to benefit the company as well as serve the customers, which is the second value that we all work for, which is collaboration, right? Collaboration across teams, across geos, across boundaries, so that we are all committed towards a common goal. And while we do that, and we live in an agile environment, right, where we work in sprints and and program iterations. So what we need to do is you need to be transparent on what you want to accomplish as a team, as a group, as an enterprise. So transparency is another value that's very important for all of us. And openness is something that's very, very required in a dynamic IT world these days. Fourth one, of course, failure is common to any enterprise. You have to learn lessons from your failure, but you don't give up. You just bounce back all the time. And that's the fourth value that we all work for, which is resilience, right? Learn from your failures, go and still pursue your goal. And last but not the least, right, the value that we all work for is respect for one another. So we all work
Exactly.
for the same company, respect everyone, they're all equal, and then work towards a common goal. I think
Yeah.
typically these are the five values we all cherish, right, day in, day
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, yeah, great. Like you just tell those five things. Exactly, exactly these things, a person or an employee needs in a workplace, basically. And first of all, the thing you said, we should all learn from our failures. Sometimes we get disappointed at some point of our life. While trying something, and when we get failure, we don't get succeed in that particular thing. So at some point, I think. Someone will think like, okay, this is not for me, like I need to change something or anything like this. But we should learn from our failures, and we should keep going on our dreams. Like we should not left our dreams just like, okay, we didn't got succeed in the first attempt, second attempt, or third attempt. Like we should keep moving on and learn from our failures. This is the very very most important thing, I believe. Sometimes we always forget to follow. Yeah.
Absolutely agree. So, and
Yeah.
again, key there is fail fast because we live in a agile world. So
Yeah.
we cannot wait for maybe a long period of time to fail, and that's what we encourage. Do
Yeah.
experiment, do innovate, fail fast, learn from it, move on.
Exactly. Yeah. Like we, one should know, why you are not getting succeed from that particular. Like that's why we should learn from our failures. Yeah. Like if we didn't get succeed in that our first attempt, like we should learn from that. Like this is the thing which we didn't do right, and make it correct in the next attempt. Yeah. Okay. So, okay, moving on to the next question. Okay, I think Mr. Benakraj has joined. Let's just welcome Benakraj. Yeah. Hi, Benakraj. How are you?
Hey,
Yeah.
everyone.
Hi. Yeah. I hope I pronounced your name correctly.
Yes, yes.
Oh.
You can
Okay.
call me Benak.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So, the webinar is almost started. So, okay, let's just start with your introduction. So, could you just tell our audience about your experience?
Yes. So my name is Benak. I have around 11 years of experience in software industry. Um, so I'm basically from Bangalore. I studied in Bangalore. I did my engineering in Bangalore, and I joined a company in Bangalore. And now I'm working in Neustar for the last 5 years. I have worked on as a full stack developer. I have worked as a big data engineer. I have worked as a UI developer in the start of my career also, right? So I have experience in all these fields. Yeah, that's about me. Um,
Okay, yeah, good to hear that. So, okay, moving on to the next question. So, what are the key technologies Neustar is currently working on?
okay, so Mohan, do you want to take the question or should I go ahead?
We can
Sorry.
split in an answer. So let me give one part of it, and then you
Yeah,
can
yeah,
take
yeah,
the.
yeah. Anyone can answer, and you
Yeah.
guys can give answer one by one.
Yeah. So the one thing that I would say, right, the technology wise, the big cloud transformation programs that are happening at Neustar. So we used to have close to 9 data centers, and now we are kind of moving towards two state-of-the-art, newly provisioned data centers. That's number one. Number two is we are building all our workloads on Google Cloud, and also we have, of course, Amazon AWS Cloud as well. What is important is we are building the next generation DevSecOps, uh, the platform, if you will, which gets triggered using infrastructure as a code, and which has an automated pipeline, which does all the security checks, which can provision, you name it, we can do it right through code. So which is in my mind new and unique at Neustar, because many other companies are trying that, but not with the vision of having a single platform with a tool set that is cloud agnostic, and then you can make it work on any cloud, which is key. So that's on the platform side, and I'll allow Bennett to talk about the data side as well.
Yeah, thanks, Mohan, for that. So, on like Neustar is basically a company which works with a lot of user data, right? Uh, so there are some products that we offer in marketing. There are products that we offer in risk and communication, right? So these are different verticals that we have in Neustar. So all of this, the key factor is actually data engineering and data science, right? So the technologies that we use uh, are for these, right? So in data engineering, we use Apache Spark, we use BigQuery in Google, we use Hive, we use HBase, we use um, you know the we also use databases like Oracle, Postgres, MySQL. We use Core Java extensively. We use Python for some products. We use Scala, right? And that's about the technologies. Coming to the data engineering part, as I said, our pipelines are built in. They are in AWS now. We are migrating into GCP, and we work with Dataproc workflow templates. We work with uh, Cloud Composer, which is an Airflow. We work with uh, we work with BigQuery, right? So we have end to end technologies that we use at Neustar.
Oh, yeah, good to hear that. There's a lot of technology and a lot of things going on currently in Neustar. Yeah, good to hear that. Okay, so moving on to the next question. So, being a technical person, what advice would you like to give the entry level developers in any organization, and or the newbies, the basically the developers who are looking for their first job to start their career? What advice you guys would like to give to the developers?
Okay, so uh, what I would based on my experience as a fresher 11 and 12 years back, right? As I said, I started as a UI developer, then I moved to core Java, then I right. So what I would advise is wherever you go, right, um, whichever company you decide to join, or wherever you get offered, right, keep your zeal to learn alive, right? So you have to keep updating yourself every day, right? You need to look at what's coming new, what's there, what new technologies are coming in the market, and then you also have to work closely with your company, right? So you solve the problems that your company is facing, right? Volunteer and solve the problems that your company is facing. Uh, Involved in the decisions that the architecture board or management is taking, right? So you volunteer for that, and you get involved in those development programs. You make sure that you contribute to the company that you work for, right? Once you do that, it automatically you will grow, and you will learn new technologies, and you will be able to excel in your career.
Yeah, right. Basically, you must, keep up with the trends. What are the latest technologies coming in the market, and you must have a zeal to learn new things. Yeah.
Yes.
So, what's your take on this, Mohan?
I'll try to keep it simple, right? Technology is always ever changing. Relish the technology that you get into, right? Put your
Yeah.
heart to that because it evolves and it changes. What is there today may not be there 5 years. So learn what is there, relish it, and repeat what you have learned into a success story for the company so that company gets benefits from that.
Yeah.
And and again, like and repeat your successes as as often as possible. So that's a simple mantra because learning is a never-ending process. So enjoy the learning journey and the experimentation that you do with the innovation mindset that you bring in uh, to come out with creative solutions that you all do. And again, typically history has proved that people with less than three experience file maximum number of patents. So the young generation has a lot of I would say energy that they bring in. So put your energy to the right place and enjoy the place that you get into. Right, that's a that's the crux of everything that you would like to do. So enjoy your workspace.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay. So, moving on to the most important question, what vacancies are there in New Star? Like, what hiring procedure do you guys follow to hire new talent? Like, first of all, just tell elaborately, like, what are the vacancies are there in New Star?
All right, I
Um,
think
Good.
uh, yeah. So there are all kinds of vacancies that you can think of, right? Because we are growing, and of course, I don't have a cheat sheet with me to say how many are open today. But having said that, so we have vacancies at all levels. As we speak, we have at the early level, right? The graduate hires the interns who are coming and working with us in several groups that we have, who come learn and grow. Not just that, if I go up, we have position at the junior levels for different areas. On the platform engineering side, the technical skills on the DevOps, or be it on the data side, right? On the big data analytics around that, or maybe UI development using Java, etc. So we have areas of open positions there as well. Again, if you want to be a senior player, an architect, and you want to drive your experience into the next gen technology world, most welcome because we have quite a few senior architect positions open as well. So it's a flavor of all kinds of skills that we can ask for.
Okay. And what hiring procedure do you follow to hire new talent?
So again, procedures again vary depending on who you are kind of hiring, right? So if
Okay.
it is for entry level positions, there will be most likely some kind of a test followed by basic interviews and followed by a personal interview to see whether if you come with the right attitude. Because in my mind, early uh, the jobs for anybody is more of an attitude match, right? And if that helps, then you will sail through. So that's as simple as that. And if you are more experienced, it goes to a few rounds of technology interviews, followed by the senior managers and leaders who would talk to you. And sometimes it is required because you see different aspects of uh, your skills that you bring in by different people, and that's a good thing to have. And then once it is done, it's basically you get an offer letter from the HR, right, who will do the personal interview.
Yeah, great. So, Benakaraj, what's your take on this? Like, from a technical background, being a software engineer, senior manager, I would say. So, what's your take on the technical part? Like, how you gonna judge a candidate, or while hiring a new talent, or on a technical aspect, what you see into a new talent?
Um, okay, so to start with, you asked for number of vacancies. I just saw an email that was sent by HR recently. I think we have 50 plus vacancies across Bangalore and Hyderabad. And I think 20 to 25 of them is actually for entry level folks. And it's across DevOps, data engineering, full stack, right, and UI, right. So there are wide range of vacancies in Neustar, and if the candidates are interested, there are like whatever candidates we have, like we have vacancies for that, right? So that's it. And coming to what I look for in a candidate when I hire, it depends, right? So it depends on the role that I hire for. in an entry level graduate, I don't look at technical skills that much. I look at the right attitude, right? And I look at how his problem solving skills is, right? How his logical skills are, right? Then at a higher level for let's say a senior software engineer, I look at the coding skills. I look at the knowledge that he has in various technologies, right? And yeah, that's it.
Okay, yeah, that's great. So, someone from the audience asked this question: will they provide internship also, or only job? So, Ishwar, I hope you got the answer of your question. Like, so they do have internship and as well as job in the new stars.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
So there is an internship going on now. So there are I think 15 to 20 interns that are in Neustar currently. But that is tied to a job, right? So when we hire as an intern, we also want to hire them for the job after they complete their internship, right? So it ties with a AC role, which is a entry level engineer in Nuestar. We call it associate software engineer. So yeah, we have internship, we have associate software engineer. If they have completed their engineering, they can apply for it as a AC. Candidate.
Okay, great. So, moving on to the next question. So, recently you partnered with Geeks for Geeks to source candidates for your tech hiring. What are your expectation out of this partnership?
So that's going to
Okay.
be simple. Get as
Yeah.
many candidates as possible because, as you saw, the numbers quite high. If we
Yeah.
are getting the right candidates, we can get them on board as quickly as possible.
Yeah. So let me. So I have been trying to hire for my team. So from last 1 year, right? So we started with HackerRank tests, right? Uh, but what we see is that there are very less candidates who are interested to take tests, right? So if you give a fresher also a assessment to complete, if you send that assessment to 50 people, we get 5 responses, right?
Mm.
What we
Yeah,
see
right.
is that there is very less participation in these kind of online programs that we see. So if Geeks for Geeks solves the problem for us, where we get a lot of pool to hire from, right? So we need an entry level an assessment to be completed by an entry level engineer to get hired to Neustar, right? So we cannot interview 100 and 200 people, right? So we need the candidate to clear an assessment, and then
Yeah.
we can take the next level interviews and add interviews. So if Geeks for Geeks can solve the problem for us, that's great.
Yeah. Well, Geeks for Geeks is always there to help you and solve the problem. Basically, is this Geeks for Geeks is non for be it any computer science or coding relating issue, and be it any sort of sourcing candidate for any tech company. So Geeks for Geeks is always there to help you. Yeah.
Good to hear
So,
that.
yeah. So, moving on to the next question. So, what are your views upon Job-A-Thon, the hiring contest, and how it will help you in hiring tier three and tier four candidates to start their career?
So, I missed the first part. Can you repeat the first part, please, one more time?
Yeah. What? Yeah. What's your views on Job-A-Thon, the hiring contest?
Job-A-Thons. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah. So, Benek, you can start that.
So yeah, as a concept, Job-A-Thon is actually new for us. So um, what we expect from that is it's actually a good initiative. So I hope that this would give us a lot of candidates who are problem solvers and who have zeal to learn and participate in these kind of challenges, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, so I think this contest is actually great for us. And we hope that it will give us talent pool to help from.
Yeah.
Correct. Just to add to that, right? So what that does is that filters the people, right, who may not exactly fit into the requirements that we have
Yeah.
by
Exactly.
validating some of the basic needs that we have. That helps. That doesn't mean others are not good, right? They may have different skills which we may not need at this point in time, right? So that's why these validations help to identify the right people, and that saves a lot of time for us as well.
Well, yeah, exactly. You sum up it very correctly. And the next part of this question: how the Jobathon will help you in hiring tier 3 and tier 4 candidates to start their careers.
See, anything, right? And this has become a practice in the industry now. You call it jogathons or hackathons, right? So that's
Yeah,
giving a challenge to a team member, and he uses ideas and then comes out with a solution, right? And
yeah,
again, the pattern may vary depending on the number of questions, the number of right questions and answers that you do. But ultimately, what you do is provide a solution for a question, which is important. And that's
yeah,
exactly what any experienced person in any industry would do as well, right? So we get posed with questions in terms of requirements and we provide solutions. Certainly,
yeah,
this becomes the right entry point and the right mindset for people to come and work with us because they would know how they would work in the long term.
exactly. So let's move on to the next question. So for an organization like Neustar, what do you look for a candidate who is suitable to work with your company?
Go ahead, Benek.
I want to talk about the core values that the Neustar Heritage Neustar has, right? So we call it, there are five values. We call it accountability, respect, resilience, and transparency, right?
Yeah,
We look for candidates who respect these values, right? We look for right attitude in the candidates, and who can carry these values and who fit into the culture of the company, right? So that is very very important, right? So we have a very very good culture in the company, right? So be it transparent, senior leadership being transparent to the employees, be it respect that we carry to between our colleagues, right?
yeah,
So be it resiliency, right? So we look for these values in the candidates that we have, and apart from the technical skill, of course.
yeah. Basically, the positive attitude a person must have. I believe skills can be teach, but attitude, you
Exactly.
know, yeah, this can't be taught. I believe.
Let me present it in a different way, right? So we love each other so much that we fight every day. So and that's not an oxymoron, though that's a reality because when you are in discussion, be it a developer or be a VP, right? Every idea and every single point of view is welcome, and everything that doesn't seem right is questioned. And
Hmm.
that ability to challenge that gives the right solutions and the right innovations at the right time, and that's what we do on a
Yeah,
day-in-day basis. And this is very key to the success of what we do. So it's
yeah,
very important.
yeah. Exactly. Okay. So, concluding this conversation, what would be your message to the candidates who are watching this video and looking for an opportunity in Neustar? Anyone can start.
Okay, so what I would say is that I have been part of this company for the last 5 years. It's a great place to work at, right? So the culture that we have, right? The kind of employee engagement activities that we have with this online hybrid work environment that we have a lot of challenges, but we have a lot of engagement activities uh, as part of our cultural clubs. We have rewards and recognitions, which are great way to identify a resource who is contributing well. Right, we have lots and lots of perks at Neustar. So if if you're looking out, right, so I'll say that Neustar is a great place to work, and I like whoever wants to be part of a great company with great culture, please welcome and join Neustar.
What's your take on this, Mohan?
Again, so Benek has
Yeah,
summarized it.
yeah,
And, and what we I would emphasize is like now, basically whatever we do, right, to drive strategy and value for what we do for customers, that drives every single business decision that we take on a day-to-day basis. And again, the way the capability and the orientation has changed, right, from people, process, technology that used to be the base mantra, right, over the past, to building the integrations and the capabilities and the process that kind of like brings all of this together is what we are in, and that's important. And I would maybe request everyone to see the value of what they deliver at the end of the day wherever they work, because ultimately that's what matters, right? So work hard towards driving a value for whoever is customer that you're bringing in, and I can guarantee you will come with the right innovative solutions.
Okay, so time for some audience question. Okay, so someone in the audience said, Pratibhi Saha, good to see Mohan sir or mentor. Yeah. Okay. So moving on to the next question. Rahul asked importance of working on real life projects. Yeah.
So
Would you like to answer to this,
can you go ahead
Mohan?
first, and I'll add to that. Go ahead, because you have some good examples there.
Um, okay. Let me. I don't know whether I'm interpreting correctly. So when you say real life projects, I think from a student life, they want to see what is the difference from student project to a. Okay, so in actual project, right? Uh, the you will learn things which you tend to oversee or overlook when you're doing a small demo projects, right? So you would be faced with a lot of challenges, like be it size of the data, or be it some security complaints that we have to adhere to, right? Like example, in Neustar being a data company, right? So we'll have to think about privacy and compliance of local laws when we work with, right? Whether it's a United States or India, right? So that is very very complex, right? So there is a lot of difference between working on an actual real life or production and then working on a demo project, which is this. So yeah, there will be a lot of things to learn.
Would you like to add something, Mohan, in this?
No, what Benek said is very true, though, because when you are a freelancer, you have control on everything that you do, right? You can install whatever software that you need on your laptop or workstation, and then build whatever that you want to do as you want to do. But when you get into an enterprise, right, there are certain rules that set in. So right from the way you code to the code quality that you do, the code review process that gets done, how do you check in, check out code and move it all the way to production, all the controls that are there for testing, how do you create a change ticket to move the code to production, as basic as those, to coming out with a solution that is maybe good for the customer but needs to be approved by a group of people, right, who will certify that yes, this is the right thing to do. So not just the technology part, even the business part goes through a cycle of checks and balances, which is normally at your own fingertips, right, when you work for yourself as a standalone project. So that would be
Yeah.
a bit different.
Okay. So last but not the least, Prajwal is asking what is the growth that we can expect in this company?
That's growth is dependent on what you present to the company, right? And that's relevant for any company. What we have seen historically is there are many people who are great geeks, and linked to the the forum we are in, and then they bring in right technology solutions, and then there are examples where they have gone in right the ladder. So now, but the ladder itself is a definition that we have to define first. Some people want to grow into a management kind of a role over a period of time. That is the growth strategy. Some people would like to go broader into the technology world and do different things as technology, right? So, and some people would like to do multiple things, right? Maybe go to another area and learn more in that area. So, depending on the definition of growth that you have, definitely all options are available at Neustar.
Good to hear that. And someone in the audience has asked, what is the basic pay?
Uh, Depends. See, if you are a fresher, right? So I cannot quote HR. HR is not on the call. Typically, though, don't quote me for this. I'm right or wrong. But it will be starting around 6 lakhs plus 10% bonus. It could start from there as less as that to something more than that based on what you bring in, right, in the technology world. So some people are freshers, but they bring in great technology mindset. And of course, we do reward the right technology skills that you bring in.
Yeah. So I believe Charan is, straight to his priorities, so he asked that question directly. Okay, so we have another question. Dheeraj Tiwari asks, if you find a candidate who's potential but not performing, how you help him to grow?
Correct. So I'll take a stab at that. Benek, you can substantiate
Yes.
that. So that's a part of the teamwork. There is no I in a team, right? And
Yeah,
we need to acknowledge that. And I mentioned earlier also. So we fight, but we love each other, and that's the spirit that helps you grow and learn, right? So if you are performing, doesn't mean, again, there are two things, and Benek and I both substantiated earlier. Attitude, if that is right, performance is basically a direct mapping to skills, and that can be acquired by anybody when they put the effort, right? So that's what we do. Give them an environment where they can learn, and again, sometimes technology itself is required. So give them opportunities to learn new technologies if they want to get certified, pay for the certification, take care of that. So all that is possible. So when performance is directly, in my mind, not a direct correlation to the technology, but it is a direct correlation to the ambience that you work in. And again, once you get the right environment, I'm certain that everybody would perform more. I always bring by theory X and theory Y, right, as they call it. So by humans, by default, they don't want to fail. And once you get the right people, surely everybody would be successful. As a team, will make it happen.
yeah. So you would like to add something to this, Bennett?
Yeah, as Mohan said, we as a team, we want everybody to succeed, right? So there are a lot of help that the colleagues would provide in case that we see that if a candidate has potential, of course we want him to succeed, right? So there are a lot of opportunity inside Neustar. So we have something called internal job openings where if he's interested in something else, he can actually approach that and then go. He can switch from one stream to other, one vertical to other, one technology to other. So we try everything before the before we take the last decision, right? So we want everybody to succeed who comes in the new step. So if he has potential, we have seen that he has potential. Right from the higher management, we want him to succeed, right? So we'll make sure of that.
Yeah. So basically, what I can conclude is the atmosphere in Neustar is pretty flexible. Like you'll get the exposure of a lot of technology, so that you can enhance your skill and you can find out your potential, like in which particular technology, in which particular field you should go ahead.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So last but not the least, we have another question from Rahul. Do you provide internship for BSc IT graduate?
I have to check with HR. I think I cannot comment on that, but yeah, I don't know basically. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
again, so if
So
I think it's a graduation, so if that person brings in the right IT exposure and skills, why not? So we can consider that.
yeah. So Rahul, if you have right skills and technical skills, so you'll definitely can land a job at Neustar. So that's all from the audience, and it's time to wrap up this webinar. So it's been a great webinar, great session, great interacting with you both. Thank you so much for being with us today and answer to all your queries. So before moving ahead further or before taking a leave, would you like to share any note or any sort of advice with the audience or the people who are preparing or looking for a job?
So advice would be, don't look for a job. Focus on your strengths, which is technology. Job will follow you.
Yeah, that's
That's a great advice. Yeah,
yeah.
nothing can top that. No.
So anything else you would like to add, Bennett, in this?
I'll say keep the right attitude, have the zeal to learn, and as one said, the job will follow. Right.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like come किसके that quote from the movie कि सक्सेस के पीछे भागो और द नॉलेज के पीछे द कामयाबी तुम्हारे पास आएगी जस्ट एग्जैक्टली द यू वी कैन सम अप टू दैट या
Yeah.
okay so yeah okay So, time to wrap up this webinar. So, it was great interacting with you guys. Thank you so much for joining with us today. Thank you so much,
Thank
guys.
you.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
Thanks for joining
yeah,
us here. Thank you.
Thanks all.
yeah. Okay. Good day. Good day. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us today and joining this webinar. I hope you guys enjoyed a lot and learned a lot of things. And we try to answer all of your questions. And also, Job-A-Thon 12, the hiring contest is going on. Go check the description and the link. Go check it out and apply. And keep up to date with the Geeks for Gigs. So stay tuned. Bye, guys. Happy weekend.